Hey guys, in this video I'll be giving you my top 10 tips and tricks in order to become a competent operator in squad. If you like these tips and tricks, please like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. You can also join my Discord, link is in the description. Alright, let's get right into it. These are some terms that you need to get familiar with in order to comprehend what's going on in the game. The first one is seeding. Seeding is when a game isn't sufficiently populated, and usually you can still play while seeding, but you won't be able to go past a certain objective. Once the game has enough players, the game will start and you will maintain your position. The next term is backcapping. Backcapping is when you capture the first objective in order to make the next point active. Usually squad leads will agree on who's capping the first point before the game starts, so the rest of the team can push forward to the next objective and get in position to capture it faster in order to gain as much ground as possible against the enemy without wasting time. You'll hear this next one a lot. FOB, which stands for Forward Operating Base. FOB is a spawn point the whole team can use. Squad leads are the only ones that can place a FOB, and in order to place a FOB, you need a logistics truck with supplies. Bearing is the next term you should get very familiar with because it will determine what direction you're facing and can help you to direct fire and help you give good callouts. The compass on the bottom of your screen will indicate what bearing you are. It is best practice to indicate the cardinal direction and then the precise bearing. An example would be enemy south 175. The reasoning behind this is other squad mates might not be close to you, but knowing the enemy's general direction can prevent confusion and benefit your squad. This one is my favorite, suppression. Suppression is when you fire your weapon at a target and you disrupt the enemy's ability to shoot back because they will have to resort to taking cover in order to prevent themselves from being hit. Now bounding goes hand in hand with suppression, because once you effectively suppress the enemy, teammates can bound towards the target and close distance, hopefully eliminating the threat. Pieing is the last term. Pieing is where you minimize exposure to the enemy while moving around cover. Pieing will increase your chances of survival, especially while ADSing around corners. Communication is very important when it comes to squad. If you communicate properly, your squad, and if the squad leader communicates the intel in command chat, the team will be able to make split-second decisions and react to the enemy's maneuvers, effectively outmaneuvering the enemy. Your squad will also be able to direct fire towards a target if you say what bearing the enemy is, and if everyone knows, then you'll be able to overwhelm the enemy with suppression and take that said target out. If the squad lead gives you fire team lead, you can also mark targets for the rest of the squad to see on the map. If you find yourself around teammates that aren't in your squad, you can communicate through local chat and relay information so they can react as well. Cohesion is very important because without cohesion, you have no coordination. If everyone is just doing what they want and no one is communicating or listening to their squad leader's orders, then chaos will ensue. You can also tell that the game is lost when there is a lack of cohesion well before the game ends. Lack of cohesion can affect morale too. If the morale is low, the experienced players will give up and not give the maximum effort they usually would. You have to become selfless in a sense and look out for everyone else in the squad, and when everyone is on the same page, most likely the squad will survive because everyone is looking out for each other. Remember, good leaders take the initiative, and one day you will want to play squad lead, and if you understand these basic fundamentals, you'll be ready to lead an effective squad. Try to keep your stamina high, because if your stamina is low and you try to engage a target, aiming will become more unstable, and the longer the distance, the more difficult it would be to hit a target, especially if you're anti-tank and you only get one shot. That one shot can engine enemy armor and save your team from getting overwhelmed. Like I mentioned earlier, pieing is necessary in order to reduce the chances of silhouetting yourself to the enemy while making yourself a smaller target. Also, when you pie around corners, you're already aiming down sights, so the chances are you will catch the enemy off guard and have the initiative over them. When you are engaging the enemy, they will usually identify your location by the sound of your gunfire. Best practice is once you engage the enemy, you should probably shift to another angle or move to another fighting position to keep your enemy guessing and have the upper hand on them by constantly moving. Usually, when pushing to a specific location, the last thing you want to do is push through an opening, which would make you vulnerable to enemy observation and potentially giving away your position and the element of surprise. What I usually like to do is use obstacles in order to conceal my movement so I can get as close as possible to the enemy without giving away my position. You can exploit your surroundings like tree lines, shadows, or even buildings if you're in an urban environment. When traversing through terrain, you should always exploit the geography to your advantage. Always try to look for terrain features that give you the advantage when assaulting a position like the high ground over an objective. When you're choosing a good fighting position, you can look for defilades to use as cover. When setting up an ambush, you can also hide in a ditch next to a road or hide behind some rocks. Also, if you're driving a vehicle, make sure to analyze the terrain constantly and try your best to stay as low as possible so you don't crest a hill or a mountain if you don't have to. Suppression is very important when attacking an enemy position. You want to try to establish fire superiority over the enemy before advancing in order to reduce the amount of casualties your squad might take. The light machine gunner's job is to suppress and let the rest of the squad bound or retreat from a position. When suppressing, try to focus on doorways, windows, and rooftops, whatever the enemy may use as a fighting position. You don't have to shoot a specific target. You just have to make it impossible for them to poke their heads out and shoot back. This has been a major complaint from people in the community. When someone creates a squad and doesn't plan to lead it, it is never a good thing. That squad is ineffective because there is no cohesion. So my suggestion is to get some hours under your belt, and when you feel competent enough, then try to squad lead. I guarantee using these tips and tricks will put you in the right mindset and will guarantee a higher chance of success. Good luck, combatants. Wish you the best.